For more than a century, heavy armor defined dominance on the battlefield. From World War I to the Cold War and into the modern era, the tanks symbolized power, protection, and control. When tanks arrived, front lines collapsed, infantry retreated. Commanders adjusted entire campaigns around armored breakthroughs. For decades, tanks were not just weapons, they were the backbone of military doctrine. Entire strategies were built around the assumption that if you controlled armored forces, you controlled the fight. But today, something fundamental has changed. A weapon that costs roughly $5,000 can now destroy or disable a main battle tank worth $10 million or more. That weapon does not require a pilot, a runway, or a complex logistics chain. It does not rely on air superiority or satellite-guided missiles. It requires a small drone, an explosive payload, and an operator watching a live video feed. First-person view drones, commonly known as FPV drones, have transformed the battlefield in ways that most militaries were not prepared for. These drones are small, fast, and disposable. They can be assembled using commercial components, modified in garages, and launched from almost anywhere. Unlike traditional anti-tank weapons, FPV drones are not limited by range, line of sight, or fixed firing positions. They can loiter, search, track, and strike with precision. Most importantly, they attack from angles tanks were never designed to defend against. Modern tanks are heavily armored on the front and sides, the result of decades of engineering and combat experience. But the top of a tank remains vulnerable. Engine decks, turret rings, exhaust ports, optics, and rear compartments all present weak points. FPV drones exploit those weaknesses relentlessly. In modern conflicts, especially in Ukraine, FPV drones have turned armored warfare into a high-risk endeavor. Tanks can no longer maneuver freely across open terrain. Crews can no longer rely on speed, armor, or maneuver alone. Every movement risks detection by drones hovering overhead or racing in at low altitude. The battlefield has become transparent. What makes FPV drones especially dangerous is how quickly they compress the kill chain. In traditional warfare, destroying a tank often requires detection, confirmation, coordination, authorization, and execution. FPV drones collapse all of that into a single continuous action. An operator spots a tank on a video feed. The decision to strike is immediate. Seconds later, the drone impacts the target. There is no delay, no coordination lag, and no opportunity for the target to reposition. That speed overwhelms traditional defenses. Active protection systems were designed to intercept missiles and rockets traveling on predictable trajectories. They were not designed to counter small drones maneuvering unpredictably at close range. Even when countermeasures exist, they are expensive, limited, and often ineffective against saturation attacks. And saturation is where FPV drones excel. For the cost of a single modern tank, an adversary can field hundreds or even thousands of FPV drones. Losing one drone is inconsequential. Losing a tank is catastrophic. It represents not just the loss of equipment, but the loss of trained crew, maintenance capacity, logistical support, and battlefield momentum. This cost imbalance fundamentally changes how warfare is fought. Historically, destroying a tank required a comparable investment. Anti-tank missiles, attack helicopters, or aircraft were expensive systems themselves. Now the counter to heavy armor is cheaper than the armor it destroys. That reality forces commanders to rethink how tanks are used. Tanks can no longer operate independently. They require layered air defenses, electronic warfare support, infantry screens, and constant movement. Even then, survival is not guaranteed. A single drone slipping through defenses can mission kill or completely destroy a vehicle. The psychological impact on tank crews is profound. Unlike traditional threats, FPV drones are persistent. Crews know they are being watched. They know a drone could appear at any moment. That constant threat changes behavior. Crews hesitate, movements slow, risk tolerance drops, fatigue increases. War is not just about firepower. It is about morale, confidence, and decision-making under stress. FPV drones attack all three. This does not mean tanks are suddenly obsolete, but it does mean their dominance is no longer guaranteed. The modern battlefield favors systems that are cheap, adaptable, and expendable. It favors speed over mass, information over armor, and numbers over singular platforms. And a $5,000 drone does more than threaten a $10 million tank. It threatens the assumptions that shaped modern ground warfare for generations.